Okay, so I'm going to start by cleaning all of the items that I'm going to be using for the compound in 70% alcohol, and I'm placing them in the areas where they're still getting the vertical airflow. Then I sterilized my hands, and I started by opening the packaging. For the vial, I took off the cap, trying to be mindful of the first air. I'm taking off this little metal pieces on the vial here, and for the next compounding, I would think that I wouldn't be opening that little metal piece there just for the risk of contamination from the touch, because I would have been able to actually inject into the vial with that middle piece there. But now I'm going to be opening the package of the syringe, making sure the syringe is getting that first air, and I'm putting all of the garbage into the bag that is in the hood. And same thing with the needle, opening the packing so that the vertical airflow is still that first air to the needle and the syringe. And then I'm going to take my alcohol swab, and I'm going to sterilize the top of the vial 3 swipes away from me and into the bag. And then I just exercise the plunger a few times to make sure it's a little bit easier for me to move during the compounding. And I make sure to not inject any air into the vial so that we can keep that negative pressure to prevent from any spritzing of the jug. And so I'm going to pull down on that syringe to try to get as much drug as I need. And I'm doing my best to be mindful of the vertical first air that's coming from the top of the hood, although sometimes from this angle it does look like the vial is getting in the way of that injection site sometimes. So next time I'm going to be more cautious of trying to tilt the syringe at an angle so that the injection site is actually getting that first air. So I will do that more. And it took a little while for me to get all the jug that I needed. And so I'm going to be fast forwarding the clip a little bit, just so that you don't have to stare at me trying to get all the volume that I need. I just had to keep pulling, trying to get as much as I could each time. When I wasn't able to pull out any more at that time, I just took off the vial, and I was just seeing where my volume was at, and I went in again to try and acquire more volume. And again, just checking the volume level where I'm at, and I'm close to the amount I need, so I went in one more time and pulled all the way down to about 47 mLs. There we go. And now I'm just checking my volume again to make sure I'm at that 47 ml mark, making sure that first air is hitting that needle. I'm doing the one-handed capping technique. I'm having a little trouble there. Next time I wouldn't be putting my finger there just to prevent from any sticks. So I'll be more mindful of that next time. And I did get a little bit of drug into that cap, unfortunately, so I decided to pull back a little bit on the syringe just to pick up any drug that was trapped in the cap over there. And then once I had my full amount, I took off the cap of the needle and put it into the proper disposal in the hood. And I put down the syringe so it's getting that vertical first air, and I'm opening the cap to put onto the syringe. Opening it with the packaging facing up so that the first air is hitting that cap. And without touching it, I'm going to attach it to the syringe. And nice and tight. And then the garbage is going into the bag that is in the hood. And then I was all done with the first compound. And then I started my next compound. So I was just wiping down all the items with the 70% alcohol and my hands as well. Okay, and then I started to open the packaging again for these items, doing my best to keep that first air from hitting all the items. And again, I took off the metal piece, but next time I probably won't do that just to make sure I didn't contaminate the vial from touch. and I swiped 3 times away from myself. And then I started to open some of my items. So first I started with the syringe, opening the packaging so that the first air is still hitting every part of the syringe that it's supposed to hit. Now the garbage goes into the bag in the hood. And I open the packaging the same way for all the other items. And I took up the cap for the spike. And then I put the spike into the vial. And took off the white cap to allow for the expansion of the little bag that's in there. Okay, and then I open my last item, and this is the item that's going onto the syringe. And once I get the packaging open, it's going to be hitting that first air. And onto the syringe it goes. And now I click the chemo lock. Heard the clicking sound, there we go. And now I'm doing the same thing, just pulling down on the syringe to get the amount of volume that I needed. And I'm doing my best to put the syringe at an angle to make sure that the injection site is getting that first air from the top of the hood. Okay, I checked to see my volume, trying to get out any air bubbles, and I went again, just to make sure I'm getting that full volume of drug that I needed. Okay, once I was satisfied with the volume, just double checking there. And then I unclicked chemo lock, and then I took the vial and the other garbage that I had acquired and disposed of them properly in the bag. And then that was the end of this compound. Bye. Thank you for watching.